Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has visited the southern province of Kherson following the destruction of the Kakhovka Dam.
Several young children and adults have been hurt in a knife attack in eastern France. Officials have yet to reveal a motive.
Death and destruction in Kherson, South Ukraine. President Volodymyr Zelensky met with authorities and emergency services in the region and witnessed the damage firsthand following the collapse of the Kakhovka Dam. Kyiv maintains Russia is responsible, but Moscow has denied any involvement. 5 people have reportedly died so far. The disaster has flooded dozens of towns on the banks of the Dnieper River. Zelensky has called for a program to be established to alleviate economic losses and restore the region's ecosystem. The president thanked the rescuers who worked to help those affected. Authorities say at least 4,000 people have been evacuated from the flood-ravaged areas, which has become part of the front line. Thousands are now homeless, farmland has been destroyed and power supplies cut off. Emergency services are trying to provide drinking water and support to those trapped by the flood.
The destruction of the Kakhovka Dam is significantly changing the geography and topography of the Kherson frontline sector in southern Ukraine, says the Institute for the Study of War. Near-infrared imagery captured early in the morning on the 7th of June indicates that the flooding is heavily disrupting Russian-prepared defensive positions on the east bank of the Dnieper River, forcing Russian personnel and military equipment to withdraw, especially affecting Russian first-line positions in Gola Pristan and Oleshki. Now, this is the before and after images of flooded homes along the Dnieper River in Oleshki, released by Maxar Technology. Kherson regional governor said about 600 square kilometers of the territory was underwater on Thursday. Ukrainian Southern Operational Command spokesperson Natalia Homenyuk stated that Russian forces relocated their personnel and military equipment from 5 to 15 kilometers from the flood zone, which places Russian forces out of artillery range of some settlements on the right bank of the Dnieper River they had been attacking. The Ukrainian headquarters established to remediate the consequences of the dam destruction reported that as of the 7th of June, 29 settlements are partially or fully flooded. 19 of them are located on the Ukrainian-controlled territory and 10 on the Russian-occupied territories. The Institute for the Study of War says Russian forces and occupation authorities are responding to the flooding in Kherson region with a great degree of disorganization and thereby exacerbating harm to the civilian population of occupied areas.
A shocking moment in eastern France as a man attacks several people in a park in the alpine town of Annecy, injuring at least 4 children under the age of 5. At least 2 of them and an adult are suffering from life-threatening injuries. A suspect has been detained. The MP for the region has expressed his horror at the attack.
C'est une attaque contre l'humanité qui a eu lieu ce matin, une attaque contre notre âme, tout simplement, où de jeunes enfants qui jouaient en dehors du temps scolaire se sont fait attaquer par un individu. Et donc ce que nous voulons dire aujourd'hui, c'est notre solidarité d'êtres humains, d'Annéciens, de Français à leur égard. Et nous voulons aussi avoir une pensée infiniment reconnaissante pour les forces de secours, pour les forces de l'ordre, qui sans hésiter un instant, avec la rapidité qu'exigent les circonstances, se sont rendus sur place, sont intervenus, sont en train d'intervenir.
French President Emmanuel Macron described it as an absolutely cowardly attack on Twitter and said his thoughts were with the victims and their families. France's lower house of parliament observed a moment of silence for the victims. The main suspect has been identified by police as a 31-year-old Syrian asylum seeker. They have not yet revealed a motive for the attack.
This is the front lines of Germany's push for tighter migration controls. Its border with Poland will see an increase in police presence and checks. Officials say there's a spike in people going through irregular routes from Poland. Euronews asked a police officer at the border if they were looking for migrants, The officer said they were looking out for any offense. People are supposed to be sent to reception centers like this one if they want to apply for asylum. One Syrian staying at the center said he crossed from Poland to Germany to be with family who have settled in the country.
بسبب الحرب وما ظل مستقبل هناك وما في أمان، ما في مي، ما في كهرباء. سوريا يعني ما في مستقبل أبدا.
A German refugee rights group says 70% of people who apply for asylum in Germany get protection status.
So we definitely have a strong concern that increased police presence does not mean more protection for the people, but could actually lead to more rejections at the border of people who actually have a proper claim for asylum in Germany.
Germany's Interior Ministry told Euronews that people intercepted at the border are always given the possibility to submit a request for asylum or protection. There were more than 4,000 unauthorized entries from Poland to Germany in the first 3 months of this year. The German government says decreasing irregular migration is a priority. All this comes as the far-right AfD is rising in the polls.
The German government says it wants to work with the Polish government to increase border controls, but some local politicians say they want stronger measures. They want the police to have the power to turn people away or to have permanent border checks.
The head of the conservative Christian Democrats in the Parliament of Brandenburg, which borders Poland, says he wants authorities to be given the right to deny entry to people who are crossing.
We are not speaking about Ukrainian people. There are only few Ukrainian people coming to Poland and to Germany up to now. These are people from everywhere in the world, from Africa, from Syria, from Afghanistan, from the Middle East.
Back at the reception center, people's future in the country is unknown, but hope remains.
ألمانيا من 10 سنين وهي عم تستقبل اللاجئين وهي بلد كويس كثير مع السوريين وعائلتي هون هم نصحوني بألمانيا يعني وألمانيا يعني أنا حابها وشايف إنه ألمانيا بلد جميل وفي إنسانية كثيرة هون.
As Canada deals with a series of intense wildfires that have spread from the western provinces of Quebec, wind has carried the smoke southwards, triggering air quality alerts through the United States. In New York City, smoke has surrounded the skyline in an orange hue, darkening the midday skies over the city. Health warnings went out as the thick haze forced public schools to close outdoor activities and grounded planes due to low visibility. An earthquake with a magnitude of 5.3 has hit western Romania, causing some structural damage. Locals said it only lasted about 10 seconds and no casualties have been reported. The epicenter was located in Banat in Arad County at a depth of 6.4 kilometers. The tremor was also felt in Hungary, Croatia and Serbia. A separate, more shallow quake was recorded in Bulgaria.
Planet Ocean, tides are changing. That's the theme of this year's United Nations World Oceans Day, being celebrated today, June the 8th. And experts say things are indeed changing in our oceans that cover 70% of the globe and are so crucial to human and animal existence. Rising temperatures, overfishing and plastics all threaten our seas.
We are seeing impacts across the globe and disproportionately in countries that haven't been the emitters of greenhouse gases. But alongside that, we're seeing local impacts of fisheries. These might be unreported, unregulated, or poorly regulated fisheries, which are having direct impact on the ocean. And what we know is when we have those multiple stresses that are layering up on each other, this is creating a massive impact on the ocean, how it functions, and the benefits that it provides for us and the entire globe.
Plastic is a visible and obvious threat. Other dangers like global warming are not. Average ocean surface temperatures have risen about 0.13 degrees centigrade per decade over the past 100 years, according to the US National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration.
There's two really big things we can do to help, and one is to reduce global emissions. We need to do that immediately, and also to set up large-scale protected areas.
Last week, global negotiators agreed to craft a draft treaty to end plastic pollution, a preliminary but crucial step. Environmental advocates cautiously welcomed the outcome of 5 days of UN talks in Paris, but expressed concern that the petroleum industry and some governments would water down the eventual treaty. Most plastic is made from fossil fuels. Superstar Argentinian forward Lionel Messi has confirmed to a Spanish newspaper that he'll sign for US Major League Soccer side Inter Miami, ending speculation he could take a blockbuster deal to play in Saudi Arabia or return to Barcelona. Messi left French club PSG last weekend.
Fueron 2 años donde yo no era feliz, donde yo no disfrutaba y eso me afectaba a mi vida familiar, donde me perdía muchas cosas de mis hijos y un poco de mi decisión pasa por ahí también, ¿no? Por el volver a, entre comillas, reencontrarme con mi familia, con mis hijos y disfrutar del día a día.
In Messi's hometown of Rosario in Argentina, some fans said they'd prefer it if he'd stayed in Europe, but others supported his move.
Messi está bien, podría jugar unos 3 añitos más en Europa. La verdad que lo reveo volviendo al Barça o yendo a la Premier, pero bueno, si él decidió que era lo mejor para él y para su familia, lo banco.
And in Castelldefels, where Messi lived while playing for Barcelona, there was resignation.
Nos ha desilusionado un poco los culés, pero al final yo creo que es lo mejor para el Barça porque al fin y al cabo tiene una edad y el Barça tiene que mirar al futuro y no centrarse en el pasado.
So it's stateside for arguably the world's most famous footballer. He'll reportedly earn €47 million a year, a lot less than he could have been paid in Saudi Arabia.